y'all, welcome to Blackmar BBQ. My name is Blake Blackmar, and this is my first ever YouTube video. Just to give you guys a little background on me. So I played college football at Baylor, then I went and played in Chicago with the Bears for a year. That was awesome. Football was really stressful, and I'll tell you what, the best way to relax after a game practice for me was kicking back, cracking a cold beer, smoking barbecue outside, having the O-line, having friends come over. It's a great way to relax after a game, and it really became a passion of mine during college. Now I'm done playing, I'm not done with barbecue. Let's talk pork. Today we've got a beautiful rack of pork spare ribs. I think I got these from Sam's a while back. Got beautiful fat striations right here. When you're at the grocery store, you're typically going to see three types of ribs. Pork spare ribs, or the whole spare rib, which is pretty much what this is, baby back ribs or loin back ribs, and St. Louis cut ribs. St. Louis cut ribs are the spare rib with the breastbone and the rib tips trimmed off. So today, I typically go for the whole spare rib. It's cheaper per pound, you get more money for your meat, and to trim it, if you want to trim it to St. Louis cut ribs, it takes about 30 seconds. Today, we're cooking Central Texas, easy, everyday backyard ribs, so I'm not going to do much to these. I'm just going to even this up, trim off this little flap right here. Not going to take the silver skin off. The way I'm cooking it, you don't need to take it off. You don't need to worry about it. Some people do. For this, you don't need to. Today we've got this beautiful rack of pork spare ribs. Got these from Sam's. Actual beautiful marbling. Love to see that in the rack of pork ribs. Always try to look for marbling in your pork ribs. It'll make a big difference. So this is a whole rack of spare ribs. It's still got the rib tips on here. You can see this delineating line right here. If you wanted to trim these into St. Louis cut ribs, you would cut this off. Sometimes they come with the breastbone attached. This one's been cut off. That was pretty much the only thing I was going to do to these. It kind of feathers out and it's a little thin right there, but that's okay. This is the back side. The only real trimming I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this skirt off. This is the equivalent of the skirt steak on a cow. Very tasty, but for barbecue, it's not, or yeah, for smoking, it's not going to do you any favors. It's just going to be a barrier to entry. It's going to get tough. I do like to throw this on the pit though, as a little pitmaster snack. Right here, it's a little thin. We're just going to round that off. It's mostly fat. Even that up. I think we're good to season. The most complicated thing about this cook today, I'm going to use 2 rubs. Use whatever rubs you want. These are 2 that a friend of mine makes, and they are killer on ribs. This is the combo. This is a gold kind of, he calls it his gold. This is a honey rub. So I like to go with that. Just a light layer on the back side, because think about it. When you eat ribs, your tongue is going to hit this back side first. So the first thing that's hitting you is that sweetness from the honey. Just light, don't need to pat it in or anything. It'll adhere to the meat. And then on the front side, we're going with this red rub. This has got a little more heat to it. It's got an amazing red color that gives you that nice mahogany look. And I go a little heavier on this side, but this is just gonna be a great combo of sweet heat. And use whatever rib rub you want, you know, make it your own. Salt and pepper ribs come out amazing. I'll probably do some salt and pepper ribs coming up here on the channel. It's as Central Texas as it gets. That's it. 1 cut on the trim, 2 rubs on the seasoning, no binder, easy. We've got this rack seasoned. I've got another rack. I'm gonna season that up. We're gonna take you to the smoker next. I'm cooking 1 on my offset brandy. It's a 150 gallon offset smoker on a trailer. And I'm cooking 1 on a pellet smoker because I know they're popular. I'm at my buddy's house. He has a pellet smoker. And we're gonna do a little comparison. Not, you know, this isn't a science experiment. We're eating ribs now, but it'll be fun. Remember this little skirt steak we trimmed off? This is gonna be our pitmaster snack. You always have a little rub that doesn't make it all the way on the pork. What we're gonna do is just rub that in that board rub. That's all it needs. No waste over here. Okay guys, it's been about 15 minutes while we've gotten the fire going. We've just let these sit out at room temperature. You can see how much that red rub has adhered to the meat. It's really soaked in. It's giving it that beautiful color already. These are ready to go on the smoker. This is Brandy, my offset 150 gallon smoker. This is the other woman in my life. We're okay, Katie. That's my wife. This is the other woman in my life. Right now, we're gonna get her fired up, get some ribs on her. We started with this with just some lump charcoal. I'm gonna go in with a split of wood. And I like to kind of do this little 3 pieces lean-to method. Get some airflow going underneath. Quickest way to start a fire for me. Shout out to Chud's Barbecue for that one. Now that Brandy's getting up to temp, we got to worry about our other friend, the pit boss, pellet smoker. So let me see. I think you just hit the power button, and then you hit the prime button, and you touch that knob, and it'll be ready in about 5 minutes. Today we're cooking with Kingsford Signature pellets. It's a mix of hardwoods. It's got some cherry in there. It's gonna be great for pork. Pellet cookers are perfect pork cookers. They make pretty food. Everyone likes pretty ribs. So we've got our pit up to temp. We're right between 250. It looks like we're creeping up a little over 275 on this top rack. It usually is a little hotter. Most importantly, we've got thin blue smoke. You should barely be able to see it. Getting our pork on. I'm gonna go on this top rack. It should get a little more convective heat underneath it. I don't think it really matters on this big cooker, but I'm gonna go with the thicker side towards the fire so the smoke kind of comes over and across. Like I said, ribs are a thin cut of meat. These have plenty of fat. I don't think it's gonna matter too much. Important thing is to get them in the smoke and let them hang out for a couple hours. I'm not gonna spritz these. Again, super simple backyard rib. Just gonna let these roll for 2 hours, maintain our pit temps. We've got our pellet smoker up to temp. The heating element on most pellet smokers is right here in the middle. It's where the fire pot is. So I try to avoid putting things directly over it if I can. This pit boss has plenty of room. So I've got these ribs going long ways on the side, not directly over the heating element, and I put the thick side close to them. I think we're gonna be good. I'm gonna make up my sauce. Today, I'm rolling with Patriot sauce spicy. I met these guys when I was playing in Chicago. They have a great shop down there in Southern Illinois, and they make a killer sauce. This is a multiple award-winning sauce, and on ribs, it's perfect. Gives a nice gloss. I'm not measuring anything, but basically I'm just filling up this sauce bottle. You know, you're not gonna need a ton, and I'm gonna water it down a little bit with apple cider vinegar. Not a lot. You just get that in there, finger over the top so you don't make a mess, and you just shake it up. And you're just trying to get something that's loose. We've got our sauce made, thin, almost St. Louis style sauce. We've got our ribs. They've been on for, I don't know, probably 2-3 hours. Starting to get some drawback. We've been running a clean fire the whole time. We're up around 275. And we're just gonna give this a little squirt, kind of paint these ribs with some of that sauce. And you know, we're not going to worry about kind of getting it spread out. As the sauce heats up, it'll spread over those ribs, and we'll come back and wrap these in probably 20 minutes. We had our ribs on. We sauced them about 20 minutes ago. We've let that sauce kind of get tacked up. They're almost ready. We're just going to wrap them up right here, and not, 45 minutes, they'll be perfect. Just look at that color, like just in the light, perfect. Pellet smokers make beautiful ribs. I just give it a little swirl of sauce. The important thing right here, meat side down. Let's do a little 45-minute check-in on the ribs. I always like to check in at 45 minutes. Typically they take an hour, but every cook is different, every rib is different. Sometimes they're done at 45. And I can already tell, just picking these up, they're flexing really good. They feel like they did when they were raw. That's what's these are ready. These, I can already tell, just from the pooling, I can see through the crack in this foil. Yeah, these are both ready. We're gonna take these off, drop them in the oven. You can let these sit out on the board. I like to give my ribs about 45 minutes, maybe an hour to chill out. You can leave these on the board for 15 minutes and cut into them if you're in a hurry. Total cook time, we're probably at 4.5 hours, so not bad. Ribs don't have to take all day. We had a total cook time about 5 hours. We brought the ribs in, let them rest in an oven that was off for about 45 minutes to an hour. I temped them with the ThermPen. They're probably about 145, 150, both racks. Here on the right, we've got the pellet smoker ribs. Here on the left, we've got the offset smoker ribs. The offset smoker ribs are a deeper, darker mahogany color, but no one's gonna complain about these pellet smoker ribs. You kidding me? To review, guys, we have the ribs off the offset cooker outside. We've got the pellet smoker ribs right here. Very similar. I'm always gonna gravitate towards those offset smoker ribs, but we'll give them a taste test here in a minute and try out. So these are the offset cooker ribs. We've got a nice, pretty smoke ring. I have a good feeling about these. Clean bite is the thing everyone in competition barbecue wants. We got the membrane on the bottom, no barrier at all. The first thing that hits your tongue is that honey on the rub, finishes off with a little chipotle heat on top. This rib is money, and it was super easy. Here we've got the pellet smoker, also have a respectable smoke ring. And again, smoke rings are not indicative of smoke, but they look good, people like them. They're good for Instagram. Another perfect, clean, easy bite through rib, membrane on. I'm telling you folks, everyday rib, easy, set it and forget it, can't beat it. I am pumped about these ribs and I'm ready to eat.